Levinson, Sport Bike Product Manager for Kawasaki Motorsport USA. We're here in Qatar for the World Press Intro of the all-new 2008 ZX10R. Now obviously this is the next generation 10R, but as all of these journalists that have been riding this bike over the course of the last couple of days here on the famous LaSalle International Race Circuit will all tell you that this is a completely different bike compared to the previous model. More power, lighter steering, razor-sharp throttle response, much greater feedback than the previous model, all in a much smaller, narrower, compact package that is more race-oriented than perhaps any sport bike Kawasaki has ever produced. To start with, we have an all-new chassis. Unfortunately, it's hard to see with the naked eye, but we have, again, the traditional twin spar frame that's kind of the trademark of the ZX10R. But for 2008, we have an all-new intake system that's much broader, straighter, more direct ram air system. Has all-new steering head. We have new convex as opposed to concave spars, and all-new bottom casting, and also have a couple little secret frame tricks, all to increase the rigidity of the motorcycle and provide much greater feedback. We also have a new dual-style swing arm that's now lower and a little bit longer to provide, again, better feedback to the rider as well as provide much greater stability. Up front, we have 43mm forks, which are now more race-oriented than before. They now have the springs in the bottom, and of course with the diamond-like coated lower fork tubes. The front discs are now 310mm, which are 10mm larger than the previous model. We've also gone to the aluminum carrier versus the steel carrier that we had on the previous model. Brake calipers that are now twin pads versus the previous model, which utilizes 4 individual pads. On the rear, we have new race-oriented suspension, new rear shock, obviously fully adjustable, but now with both high and low speed adjustability. We also have a significantly improved engine, now with more peak power, more controllable power, making it a much funner motorcycle to ride as a whole. We've made some revisions to the transmission, some different gear ratios. Again, we have the popular adjustable clutch. And of course, we have an all-new exhaust system, which was a big part in helping us to create more peak horsepower. The new exhaust also enabled us to get the weight of the motorcycle down lower and centralize the mass. The pre-chamber, which is visible, is actually located in this area of the motorcycle to, again, get the weight as low as possible on the motorcycle and as centered to the motorcycle as possible to increase the handling characteristics of the motorcycle. We also have an industry-first Kawasaki ignition management system to provide very precise, razor-sharp throttle response. And of course, the most obvious part is the all-new styling. Of course, we wanted to produce a motorcycle that was very cool looking, very aggressive and race-oriented, but we also wanted to create a bike that provided the aerodynamics that's needed, but also to produce a cockpit area that was going to be very slim, compact, and able to ride along with the motorcycle. Lots of freedom of movement, not just left to right on the motorcycle, but also forward and back. So as a result, we have an overall package that, as the journalists will tell you, has way more power, way more controllability. They feel so much more feedback. They get a much better feel for what's going on under them, what the bike's doing, how it's contacting the road, what the tires are doing, what the suspension's doing, what the chassis is doing, all relating back to them to enable them to be able to control the bike much better with a lot more confidence, enabling them to turn faster lap times. As many of the riders said, the bike actually has a 600 sport bike feel with a ZX10 power.